Hey guys, Dave and Cali. Well, today I wanted to talk about a little bit about our economy and the way things are going, and maybe from a point where most people, they all know about inflation, but they don't really think about what's really impacting our lives. As Real quick, let's just take minimum wage for example. Well, back in 2019 to 2020, minimum wage was $11 and soon to go up to 12. And the inflation rate was 1.4%. So that meant almost out of that $10, let's say if you use $10, 10.4 cents spending power was taken away from that a dollar increase for inflation. Now Biden comes into his administration comes in, and almost immediately we have a 7% increase in 2021. So now you're looking at a whole different aspect. Now the minimum wage at that time is going from 12 up to 13, or each year it goes up a dollar. Except now we've given them a dollar raise, but we've took 70 cents back. So technically they only got a 30-cent increase. And of course it's still isn't a living wage. It never will be a living wage. But if you stop and think about 2022, the compounding of the next, I figured 7.5, but they're reporting as a 7.9 inflation increase. So now you're talking $2.80 plus away from the new $15 an hour, which brings them all the way back down to $12 and something. So, I mean, the inflation is even killing the people the reason why I'm bringing this up is low income. It's even harder for low income people. Now let's just say you work for a company and let's say you make 100 grand a year. Well, if you look at inflation, the year, let's say 2021, you still have the same job, and all of a sudden everything starts costing more. It literally takes out of your 100K, $7,000 of your spending power is gone, evaporates, gone. So basically you're left with what was equivalent to 93,000 the year before. Now let's compound that with the rise in 2022, which is another 7.9 is what they're reporting. But if you'd use 7.5, now you're talking $14,500 of your spending power from your 100K job just out the window. So I don't see that with the pandemic and all that, not too many people got raises and stuff during these trying times. Matter of fact, things got really tight for a lot of employers, and there weren't a lot of bonuses handed out unless you were in the medical industry or working for the government or something like that. But anyway, so this is just something to think about, how the economy has really got out of hand. Now, let's go back to gas prices, which we all know Biden absolutely had a lot to do with what was going on just by cutting off pipelines. And I know they deny it, but it puts pressure on the system. It's a supply and demand thing. So if you cut down the volume of supply, obviously the demand is going to outweigh what we can produce, or we go to other countries and start buying it. So, and that's exactly what we're doing. Now, we've always exported and we've always imported, and I know a lot of people don't really understand why is it we export and we import. But there are certain qualities and aspects of fuel, well, actually, I should say crude oil, that affect the market and who buys what and so forth. Plus, there's the political side of it, things that our government does to maybe help appease or help, I might say, finance other countries. I know that they don't want to admit that, but number one, most of the crude oil that we get out of the Appalachian area is probably some of the purest, cleanest, or what they call sweet crude in the world. And what does that mean, sweet? Well, sweet means there's, it's good. It's not a lot of impurities. Now, we get a lot of oil from, north, and, even the stuff from the pipeline stuff would be what they would call a sour crude, which sour crude is oil that has more sulfur and there's all sorts of other chemicals that they literally have to filter out and clean out. And then, of course, anything that goes to California has to be double and triple, and, and then we have the winter blends and we have summer blends. And so all you in California, the reason why we pay more than anybody else is because of all these special blends that, our government imposes on us. And of course, it's for the environment, and I get it, and most people do. It just sometimes it's it's overbearing as far as cost, because we can't understand why 2 states over they're paying half as much as us. But anyway, back on the crude oil thing. So you say, well, why do we sell? Well, we sell a lot of the sour to other countries, and we're saying, well, they can clean it up. But in lots of times, the reality is they're using the crude. They don't clean it up as good as we do. And what we're doing is we're taking the carbon problem and transferring it to another country, which probably or may not be as environmentally forward or privy to what they're doing. And so in other words, we're letting them pollute as long as it's not us. So it's kind of a, if you really want to clean up the environment, then you would stop selling crude oil to countries that don't clean it up. Okay, so now we got crude oil that and I say we're buying from Russia. Why would we, when Russia's oil is probably some of the most sour oil in the world? Well, sometimes it's about money, and of course that's one of the reasons why we pull it, is because we don't want to finance their war machine that's going on right now. But same way with the deal that Biden and Russia are working together with Iran. They're trying to appease Iran by saying, well, look, we'll buy oil from you, which brings money in, if you don't build nuclear warheads and, get rid of your nukes. So we're trying to appease them. And, of course, they could care less, really, but they'll go with whatever deal they can get if they can make money and so forth, but they'll probably just still be building it anyway. So anyway, but that's all my opinion, just by watching and listening to the news and so forth. So anyway, the deal with the cost of gas is basically, in my opinion, planned. It's obviously to push towards electric cars, which I understand, because myself, I've many a times says, if gas gets any higher, maybe I should think about getting an electric car. Well, that's exactly what they want you to think. That's exactly what they want to do. If it gets so unbearable, you're going to start thinking about getting an electric car. Well, they also have a big surprise for you. Now, if you go all electric, or most people start going to electric, they realize that all of a sudden they're not going to get their 40 cents a gallon, like out here in California, taxes, because we get tax on tax on tax, so it's taxed several times on fuel every state's a little different as how they do the fuel tax. But the government also understands that all of a sudden income is not going to be coming in because they're actually, at the same time they're shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to money. So they've already put in place and have already setting it up to where they are going to charge you by the miles. Now when you do your taxes, you will be reporting mileage on your vehicle. And guess what? After you get done paying the taxes, I don't know if electric is cheaper. But, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, that's my little economic rant. Of course, I'm pretty sure everybody's complaining about the same thing. Anyway, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm Dave in Cali, and we'll see you on the next one.